Hey everybody, Boo the Hedgehog here, and the first Season Pass details were revealed a little while ago for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, specifically the stream before it came out in Japan. Now, there's going to be 6 characters, and here's the information on them. They told us if they're going to be male, female, what Final Fantasy game they came from, and if they're a veteran or a newcomer. They didn't specify if they include spin-off games or not, but considering how we have Ramza and Ace in the game, I'd say they're possible contenders. Doesn't mean they're going to be any spin-off characters, but they're possible. Anyways, here's the information on each slot, I suppose. The first one will be a male newcomer, then another male newcomer before Final Fantasy VIII, then a female newcomer after Final Fantasy VIII, then a male newcomer after Final Fantasy VIII, then a female veteran from after Final Fantasy VIII, which means either Prish or Yuna, and then a male newcomer after Final Fantasy VIII. Now the first guy is actually going to be a villain, because Nomura, Tetsuya Nomura, the lead character designer for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, was on stream and he specifically said that the first guy is going to be a villain. Alright, with that out of the way, make your predictions down below in the comments and I'll go over my own. But basically, that's all there is to know about the Season Pass right now. You also get your costumes and weapons for each character like every other character has, in case you're wondering about that as well. There's no word if you need to actually unlock them in a loot box, or if you need to, if you're just giving them when you buy the character. But that's all we know for now. So everybody's been saying that the first guy is going to be Arden, to bank off that Final Fantasy 15 hype. Well, personally, I disagree, because of one reason. Lightning is the only character in the game with 3 different costumes. I mean, they had to give her a 3rd costume because of the story, but they just love Lightning, I guess, in Japan. They still love her, even though we hate her, I guess. I don't hate her, I love her. She's a really cool character. But she's not really popular in here as she is in Japan. So I think the very first character is actually going to be from Final Fantasy 13, a villain from Final Fantasy 13. Because they still want to fill out the villain roster. They want 15 villains and 15 heroes probably, along with, you know, the side games too. So I think the very first character is going to be a Final Fantasy 13 villain. Well, which Final Fantasy 13 villain? Let me go check the Final Fantasy. Okay, back from the wiki now. There's a couple of possible contenders available here. Usually I'm relating it to how much they're putting other Square Enix titles and crossover video games. And the very first one is Sid Raines from Final Fantasy 13 and Lightning Returns. He's in like Record Keeper, he's in Pictologica, he's in every game, and what's really important, he is a human being. They don't want any like bipedal characters in Dissidia NT. Like they've deconfirmed that, which means no Red 13. If anybody's wondering about Red 13, it's not gonna be him. He's never gonna be in the game. They don't want you fighting bipedal characters. I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with PETA, but yeah, he's a human being, which means he can be in the game, and he is somebody who actually opposes Lightning herself. He also has the same kind of thing where, you know, in Final Fantasy 13, you switch between multiple roles in the middle of battle. He does that during his boss battle too, which means if they want to make like kind of like an opposite Lightning or like an evil Lightning with a similar moveset but like with different playstyle, they could do that with him. They could have him give him like alternate roles that aren't available for Lightning, for example, or they could give him a different kind of playstyle that's similar to Lightning's but like with different attributes or something. They could do that with him, have an alternate Lightning available in the game, maybe like a Vanguard version of Lightning. He also has an alternate form, a Seath form, so they can use that as like an EX skill. Let's say you build it up and you become a Seath and your attacks become stronger or something. So he actually has potential to become like a Dissidia character with a full moveset. The next character is the only old Final Fantasy character coming into the game. It's gotta be Locke. They talk about Locke all the time. It's gonna be him. If they put so much work into hyping him up and then they don't put him in the game, I'm gonna be real disappointed. But it has to be Locke. He's the only character they talk about from the old Final Fantasy games. They talk about him. Our next character is a female after Final Fantasy VIII, so it's a bit of a wild card here. Personally, I could see being Lise Hext from Final Fantasy XIV, Stormblood. Since that expansion just came out, it's like the most recent mainline Final Fantasy thing to come out. She has multiple outfits during it. She wears like a normal, like kind of like a dress, and she wears like a kind of like a normal jumpsuit kind of outfit. So she has 2 outfits there already. She has different weapons from Final Fantasy XIV she could use because it's an MMO. They have a ton of weapons there, and that's why I can see her being it. And she's also a monk. We don't have any monks in the game yet. I know Tifa's the classic monk, but she uses this weird kind of like feint system. Final Fantasy XIV's monk is very unique, and like you punch people and you go faster, and you punch them faster, and you punch them faster. I would like to see that translated to Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. You know, somebody who can go faster and faster and faster, because like how slow the game is at times with you know how character animations work. I like to see somebody who got cancel their animations and then more punches, kind of like Y'shtola can with her spells. somebody like a melee version of her maybe, or just somebody who can just go fast. We all like fast things, right? Close range but fast would be a really cool character, like super fast or something. Another popular girl is Serah Farron from Final Fantasy 13-2. She has a bow and arrow, which we don't have in the game yet. No character uses a bow and arrow like exclusively. Bartz has one of his attacks, but nobody else uses a bow and arrow like as their main weapon. It can also turn into a sword, so they can have some melee moves with her as well, so she's not totally range dependent. She also has a shit ton of alternate costumes to go through, like Lightning does. I guess it's something they have because they're sisters or something, I don't know. And finally, this is more of a personal thing than an actual objective opinion, but I would like to see Rain maybe as that character, because Rain from World of Final Fantasy has a super unique moveset by using these like little dudes she can stack on her head to fight with. They're called Mirages, and the way it works is that depending on what you have stacked on your head, it changes your stats, it changes your abilities, your available moves, her own unique channel element move will change as well. And basically completely changes how you play as Rain. So I could see them using like a unique specialist kind of character where like her EX skill switches out her Mirages. It's really fast. It'd be like a really fast EX skill, like maybe like 3-second cooldown. And you could switch between like one moveset and then another moveset or something. Like it wouldn't be as powerful as like earth-changing as Cecil's swaps, but it'd still be cool to see like her stack people on her head or something. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool, like how they can integrate the Mirages along with Rain being, herself. She wouldn't have many moves like with her sword, her little dagger. Probably only have like a quick little slash or something like that. That's a neutral. But I would really like to see her in the game, just because she would have such a crazy moveset. Also, I like her more than Lon, because Lon's more of a ditzy, clueless kind of guy who's kind of like along for the ride, while Rain's like the main driving force of the game. She's like always thinking about how it's too convenient, about this, or like why this is happening. So she's more in line with the other characters who are more serious, like she's not very silly. I mean, she's silly, but I mean she's 15, so of course she's silly. But she's not as ditzy as Lon, who might be like, oh boy, I can't wait to punch Bartz in the face. She'd be like more like, why am I summoned to this conflict? Oh well, time to fight, or something like that. So she's more in line with the other characters in the series of Dissidia. I just really like World of Final Fantasy, to be honest with all of you. Great game. I want to see somebody from the game as a playable character. The next character is another male newcomer after Final Fantasy VIII. So, if it's not Arden by this point, I'd imagine it'd be the Final Fantasy XI villain, because like Final Fantasy XI has some really cool designs and really cool gameplay mechanics. I think it's a really cool game overall. I really want to play it. It has my favorite like aesthetics, I guess. So I would like to see the villain from that game. I'd imagine either be Elden Arch or the Shadow Lord, because Shadow Lord's, I don't know, the most popular villain, I suppose. And Elden Arch, they tried to put him in Dissidia, the original one, but they decided not to. They put in Shantoto instead. The only problem with Elden Arch is that during the Phase 1 part of his boss fight, he's on some kind of sort of like machine and surrounded by exoplates. So I don't know how they would translate that into the game. They probably just have him standing there. And during his second phase, he has like a glowing eye and all that shit. So basically, he's like in his ultimate form. So I don't know how they would translate that into gameplay, because like his normal form is on a machine, and he's not standing on the ground like all the other characters would be. You're not gonna have him running around a machine. That's just not gonna happen. It would look stupid. But I guess they made a moveset for Jecht, who was like a giant fucking whale in Final Fantasy X at the end. He wasn't even human anymore. Or was he even human? I don't even know. I guess they could do the same thing with Elden Arch, just make him like standing there and like give him some kind of moveset. The thing is, I don't know what his weapon would be. That's the problem. Like, what would they change on him for his weapon? I don't know about that. But I could see it being Elden Arch if they want to get their thinking caps on. The Shadow Lord was the original OG first antagonist in Final Fantasy XI, and he keeps reappearing over and over again in the expansions of the game, so that's why he's popular. Also, he's fucking enormous, so they probably scale him down a little bit for Dissidia NT. He's like the size of like 3 players, and like the human race, which I'm going to use for example here, they're like 5-ish, 5 feet. They're an average like human being. They're the human. They're supposed to be the normal human character race in that game. So he's like 3 of those. That's like 3 Bartzes or 3 Clouds, 3 Buster Swords. He's fucking huge. So he's even bigger than Golbez and Exdeath. So they'd probably scale him down to Golbez or Exdeath size, because then if he was really to scale as he was in Final Fantasy XI, everything would fucking hit him in Dissidia. The summons would be so inconvenient for him. They're already inconvenient for the big boys. Even bigger boys, oh my god, I couldn't even imagine what happens if somebody summons against him. He'd be dead, dude. He'd be gone. Bravery negative 5,000. No, but seriously, he's fucking enormous, so they probably scale him down a little bit. And he's in every single expansion, so that's the only reason. That's the other reason why I could see him being the other possible antagonist for Final Fantasy XI. He also has multiple phases in his boss fights, which all keep him the same. He's always standing with a sword. He also uses magic, dark magic, which we really don't have a lot of in Dissidia. We have like Dark Knight Cecil with his HP attacks and some of his bravery attacks. We have Exdeath's backwards aerial bravery attack. I think that's darkness. And that's about all the darkness we have in Dissidia. Jesus Christ, we really don't have a lot of darkness in that game. So he could be a great, like, like a full-on dark user. Unlike Cecil, who's like, half of that, because, he gets the paladin form. He could be full-on just pure evil magic along with his melee attacks. I could see him being something like that, like a full version of Dark Knight Cecil. So he actually does have potential to be something unique and interesting in the game itself. Also, he has a really unique mechanic in his boss fight, where once you knock him down to half health, he becomes completely immune to physical attacks or magical attacks, and I would love to see something like that translated to NT. Okay, probably not, like, exactly the same, because then, like, if you're running a team comp with, like, Jekt, and he chooses not to be immune to magical, he chooses to be immune to physical, your entire team is fucked at that point. So I would like to see something like, maybe like a resistance to physical or magical at 50% HP, and you'd like glow like blue or like glow orange if he's like resistant to like physical or magical, for example. I would like to see something like that, like a 50% HP mechanic, like a lot of the characters have, but like half health, because usually it's only like 1,000 health they have to lose to get their mechanic. For him, it would be like 50, and it'd be something really cool. I don't know what it would be, because obviously his old mechanic would not work in NT, just the way the game's balanced. But like some kind of resistance would be really cool to like for him to get. If the next character isn't Yuna, people will riot. I'm gonna just be honest with you right here. If they choose Prish over Yuna, I'm gonna be disappointed. I like Prish a lot, but Yuna's like a main character. She's like considered to be the main character of Final Fantasy X by a lot of fans, American and Japanese. She was in Final Fantasy X too, with the dress spheres and all that shit. Maybe they have a hard time making a moveset for her. I don't really give a shit. It better be Yuna. If it's not Yuna, people will be really mad. Like, really mad. I mean, Prish is a great character. Let me not be wrong here. Prish is fucking cool as hell. She punches people and they explode. She punches explosions. Her hands are bombs. But Yuna's a main character. You have to add Yuna. It's like there's no way it's not Yuna. If it's not Yuna, I will be like so fucking shocked. So yeah, it's gonna be Yuna for our second to last character. Finally, our last character is probably going to be Arden for a big surprise at the end, if they didn't add him before. And now, if they did add him before, I could easily see them giving us a huge curveball and giving us a random protagonist from one of the future Final Fantasy games, one of the spin-off games. Just somebody completely new, with no history in Dissidia NT at all, or Dissidia. Nyx from Kingsglaive, March from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Basically, fucking any man under the sun from a spin-off title that has never been in Dissidia ever before and has been added no hints towards them being in the game. Just somebody completely random if it's not Arden by this point. And that, my friends, has been my Dissidia Final Fantasy NT Season Pass #1 character predictions. Now, before anybody gets sad in the comments saying my favorite character wasn't in this, it's not official. It's just some predictions. The only thing that's official is at the very start when I told you who is going to be in each slot. So maybe the only thing that would be disappointing some fans is if you wanted some really old characters and it's obviously gonna be Locke. But so if you're wondering that, then you're probably disappointed. I guess I understand that. But anyways, I'm Blue the Hedgehog. I'm signing out now. Hope you guys enjoyed my list. Hope you guys enjoyed the information that started, all the characters I said. Oh, I just hit my computer in my hand. Ow. See you guys next time before I injure myself any further. Stay safe. Stay alive until Dissidia comes out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.